What is up, Fin fans? For the new guys to the channel who might have just subscribed during the season or during, this little brief off season, this is what you're going to get during free agency. This is straight from the phone. I'm actually using a lav. And you straight from the phone. This is the videos you're going to get, especially for breaking news like what we had this morning. I think about 45 minutes ago, it broke that the Miami Dolphins are going to be franchise tagging Mike Gesicki. And I think we all kind of saw that coming. They're not going to franchise tag Emmanuel Agba. I'll talk about Emmanuel Agba in a second because I have some news about Emmanuel Agba as well. But the Dolphins are franchise tagging Mike Gezicki. Here's the thing, right? First and foremost, good. I'm glad they're franchise tagging him. He probably is going to, warrant a contract for about 10 million, 11 million. He could probably fight to try to make more, all that stuff. But I'm glad they franchise tagged him. I'm glad he's staying with the team. His blocking, was a question. His blocking scheme and if he could block was a question, especially with the zone run and the type of offense that Mike McDaniel is going to install. But we saw with Kittle how Mike McDaniel is very good at using our weapons, using our top players to essentially distract the defense and take half of their defense away. I talked about it a ton with Kittle, how he lined him out wide, and then the defense had to kind of focus on him, run the opposite way. I think that's what they'll do with him. Also, Mike McDaniel came out in a ton of press conferences and talked about how, in specific about Gezicki. Like, he didn't say his name, but he talked about tight ends and blocking and scheme and yada yada, blah blah blah, all that stuff. So, I think we all kind of saw the writing on the wall that they were going to franchise tag Mike Gezicki. So they are franchise tagging Mike Gezicki. Now, here's the biggest question of them all, right? To franchise tag a tight end is $10,931, right? To franchise tag a wide receiver is $18,419. So it is a huge jump of the math. Let's just roughly say 8 million, right? Because if I went into the specifics of the math, my brain would explode, being that I have been up with the baby all day today. So around 8 million. I talked about this a ton, about the fact that he had 85% of his snaps in the wide receiver position, either in the slot or out wide, and he only had about 15% of his snaps in line in the tight end position. So he might fight, him and his agent might fight, saying, look, I was used mostly as a wide receiver. I wasn't really used as a tight end. So I think I deserve to be franchise tagged as a wide receiver, not a tight end. And he does have some merit there. He does have some, proof, some whatever you want to call it, because of where they played him. Now, production, in my opinion, production doesn't really matter when it comes to how you're being used. And he was being used as a big physical wide receiver. So that's where that's going to come in. If he just says, whatever, I'm making about 10 million this year. That's kind of roughly what I wanted. Hopefully they can get a contract extension before he signs the franchise tag. And then this whole debacle of wide receiver tight end situation won't happen. But as of now, he is franchise tagged. It doesn't really say as what. Adam Schefter just came out and said, the Miami Dolphins are franchise tagging Mike Gezicki per sources. But if Adam Schefter comes out and says it, it's rare for him to get it wrong. Actually, he didn't get it wrong with Tom Brady. He was just a little early on that. But so they're franchise tagging. Now, let's talk about Emmanuel Agba. He's not getting franchise tagged. And that makes sense. The franchise tag for defensive ends is $17,859,000. So it's a lot for franchise tagging defensive ends. The Dolphins, you heard from Greer, were very aggressive, more towards re-signing Emmanuel Agba. I'm hearing that they still really like Emmanuel Agba, and they want to keep Emmanuel Agba. But what I'm also hearing now is that Emmanuel Agba is saying he wants to test the free agent market. And I know a few of you guys have said, is this bad? A few of you guys have asked me, what are the chances he comes back? Now, to me, it's a 50-50 crapshoot. I think the Dolphins have slid him a contract. I think the Dolphins have, if we believe what Chris Grier has to say, have been in contract talks with Emmanuel Agba to try to get him to stay. So I think Agba understands what his price and what his worth is to the Dolphins. Because, again, I think they did come into some type of contract negotiation. So I think what he's going to do is he's going to test the free agent market. He's going to see if other teams value his play, value his, position on their team as much or as little. Again, I don't know the specific numbers that they've been negotiating as the Dolphins. So say the Dolphins were like, look, we'll give you $15 million a year, right? Because let me see if we couldn't get him, I wanted Harold Landry III, who was rumored to make about $15 million a year. So say that, right? Say 15.5, right, a year. That's what the Dolphins offered him. But say he goes out and tests the free agent market, and the best he could get out there is $13 million a year. Then he probably will come back to the Dolphins, unless it's a situation that he deems better than the Dolphins, and maybe he did like Gerald Alexander more. Maybe he did like Brian Flores more. But again, there's the rumors. This is all rumors because Barry Jackson came out in December and said that he liked Boyer's play call and yada yada blah blah blah. I've said this time and time again ad nauseum. So the Emmanuel Agba situation is interesting, but again, there are options out there if the Dolphins can't keep Emmanuel Agba. And I told you, Harold Landry III. There's trades, which is going to be the next video I make where I talk about potential trades that the Dolphins can, look at and all that stuff to make this team better. But as of today, tight ends, Mike Gesicki, franchise tagged. Emmanuel Agba, not franchise tagged, said he wants to test the free agent market to see what he can get out there. Another thing I want to talk about real quick is the Cameron Wolfe. If you follow me on Twitter, be sure to go follow me on Twitter. I retweeted a video where Cameron Wolfe was talking about what the Dolphins are going to do. And he said two things that I thought were very interesting. One is they really want to bolster the offensive line, put a few stars on that offensive line. And he said, like, multiple veterans. So my thought process of Ryan Jensen and Trent Brown is not out of the realm. We already know that Orlando Brown Jr. got franchise tagged. I didn't want that to really happen. $21 million a year. I think I said 105 total is what the rumor is for him. It's a lot of money. But I'm hearing again from Cameron Wolfe that the Dolphins are going to be putting multiple veteran starters on that offensive line, which, thank you, Lord in heaven. I'm so happy that the Dolphins brought in multiple offensive line guys because it's such a pivotal part of winning football games is the trenches. So I'm very happy. I told you guys before that I don't think that the offensive linemen we have are bad. Even Austin Jackson. If we're going to give Tua Tagovailoa a shot, if we're going to give him time to develop, same thing has to be done with Austin Jackson, right? I think giving him a better coaching staff, giving him better stuff around him will help him. So, yeah. Put some vets. Look at Laramie Tunsil. He had two great vets left to right of him when he came into the league starting at left guard. The other thing I'm hearing is that the Dolphins want to add a big-time star wide receiver to match with Waddle. Now, I find it very interesting that Cameron Wolfe said to match with Waddle, not to match with Waddle and Parker. Now, does that mean Parker is the odd man out? Parker's trade bait, whatever? I don't know. But I find that interesting that Cameron Wolfe said that the Dolphins want to add a big star wide receiver to match or to pair with Waddle. Now, there are some big names out there. Obviously, Calvin Ridley is suspended for the year for gambling, which, if you want my God's honest opinion, I think that's a little excessive. We've seen domestic violence, players get way less time than that. I know they're taking gambling super serious, which, if that's the case, Stephen Ross better hope and pray that Brian Flores has no proof of that $100,000 per loss. But Calvin Ridley's off the table for a trade. He's not playing this year. There's still Amari Cooper. I'm not trading for him. Wait for him to get cut. And there's still a lot of, DJ Chark. There's, still a lot of guys out there that are really good wide receivers that the Dolphins could target. So it's going to be very interesting. I'll probably make a video later today around 5, 6 o'clock. Full video, not from the phone. Unless there are more news breaks, then, again, this is what you're going to get during free agency. It's going to be quick and fast where signing and rumors and da-da-da-da. You're going to get videos like this straight from my phone. Good thing I have a phone with a good camera so it doesn't look like doo-doo butter. And you're just going to get, and then eventually I'll sit down and make you full-fledged videos where I go deep into review of what the Dolphins have done. But later today, I will talk about who's gotten franchise tag because this 4 o'clock is the deadline today for the franchise tag. So we'll talk about like did J.C. Jackson get franchise tag? Did all these other guys get franchise tag that are potential targets to get franchise tag? And we'll go from there because supposedly Chris Godwin is a candidate to get franchise tag, all that stuff. So yeah, so far the news I got for you: Gezicki franchise tag. Emmanuel Agba wants to test the free agent market. Doesn't mean he won't come back, but we'll see how that goes. Dolphins want to add stars on that wide receiver, and Dolphins want to add a star to pair with Jalen Waddle. But that's what I got for you. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I like the move to tag Gezicki. It's been a long time since the Dolphins tagged anyone, and I think this is a good time to use it. But other than that, guys, I'll see you probably around 5, 6 o'clock. Unless more news breaks, then you get straight from my phone. But other than that, like usual, stay classy. Events up.